this is Jody from Poppy Winkle, and I cannot believe I have never shared my paper dyeing method. It's super effective, super easy, doesn't take a lot of expensive supplies or anything, and it doesn't take over your whole kitchen. So let's do it. So first off, I'm going to show you my special ingredient, and it's turmeric. And the reason I use that is if a lot of people use coffee or tea, and this is a tea dyed paper with some other additions. But then if you put a little turmeric into the tea, it gives these nice yellow accents. And if you look at old ephemera, a lot of it has a yellow tinge to it. And so I like to add a little bit of turmeric in there, and it makes a difference. I'm not sure if you can see the difference in those two pages, but this one definitely has a yellow hint to it. So that's tip number 1. So I made these pages, all of them. I'm not sure if you can see how many. I made these all yesterday. They're not quite dry, but it's a whole stack of at least an inch thick, and I made that without taking over my whole kitchen. Usually you have to leave them around drying, and you don't have enough room to make a lot at one time. So I perfected this method, and I'm going to share it with you. Here, I start just like everybody does with some tea. Then I add the turmeric because I love that yellow. Actually, this has a little in already because I had some left over when I did it yesterday. And it doesn't dissolve great, but I think that's okay. And plus it smells so good. Oh, and look what I did. I would advise, if you've ever rubbed turmeric on chicken, you'll know it stains. So I'd advise gloves if you care, which I don't. So here we go. Where's my towel? You need one towel. Another thing that you will stain. So if you don't mind, if you don't want your towel to get stained, use an old towel. Paper. This is just plain white copy paper, and I would never use that in any of my little vintagey projects because it just doesn't fit that bright white. So all you do is make it all submerged, hold it up, tilt it so it drains. I'm not sure if you can see, but I'm letting it tilt. My hands are not parallel. They're on an angle. And then that drains really quick. And then you lay it down. Can we see? You lay it down over here. And then here's the secret. You take a plain white piece of paper and put it on top. And then you can put your next one right on top of that. So you only take up that one little bit of space. You have to put the plain one down, because if you put a wet one on top of a wet one, then you just have a puddle of goo. I think they'd all stick together. I'm sure they would. But that is it. That's the secret. Now you might say, what do you do with all the middle ones, the ones that you didn't dye? And let's just see. This one I did dye. Oh, that's the coffee or the tea dyed. This one I didn't dye. And it's not too bad. Actually, it's got a space of white here where it didn't. But all you do is you just save, if they're wrinkled or if you just don't quite like the way they look, you put them aside for the next time, and then those are the pages you dye. So does that make sense? If you have ones in this pile, and you will, there'll be ones, there's some obvious ones. If you, like here. Like, see, this is very uneven. See, that's very uneven. So that one I would dye again. We can just do it. It's not quite dry, but I think it can handle it. Oh. So you just dye it and then drain it. And then that will be beautiful when you take this sandwich apart. So anyway, that's all I did. I piled them up. I had this many, and like I said, they're still damp. This was yesterday. They're still damp, but they don't stick. They don't stick. And if you find one that's not quite dyed to your specifications, just dye it again the next time you do it. And happy crafting. Bye.